When learning English, it's really easy to get stuck in your head when you're trying to speak. And when the time comes for you to learn a new expression, it often comes out like bleh, basic words, right? You go back to the basics, the A1, A2 vocabulary, when maybe on paper you're supposed to be at B2. So let's talk about a specific theme on expressing confusion. Imagine you're at a restaurant and maybe the waiter is talking a little too fast for you. Of course, you can say, sorry, I'm a little confused, or so sorry, could you please clarify that? Of course, these are all very useful words to use. There's no problem using them. Keep using them if you are. But if you want to get to that next level of expressions, of English, of real native English settings, if you want that kind of vocabulary, then keep on watching because that's what we're going to focus on today. So, my name is Dawn Brooks and I teach you how to speak English in real situations. If you're already at that intermediate level and you just want to get to that advanced C1 level, that's why I'm here. So let's get started with the first one. Puzzled. So if you're feeling puzzled about something, it means that you are confused, okay? So it says, meaning slightly more intense feeling of not understanding. Simple example would be, I'm puzzled by this math problem. Okay, and if you're like, Dawn, what does that even mean? How do I use this into a context? Then let's go to one of my favorite websites and we can use an example from there. So I am not affiliated with this website whatsoever. However, if you are learning English and your goal is to listen better to native English speakers or to be able to use expressions in a casual setting, you just need to understand how that can be done. This is the best website for you. But anyways, I'm going to show you how to use it. It's called YouEnglish. Or Youglish, I'm not too sure how to say it. But let's take our first example, to be puzzled. So she looks puzzled. So as you would know on paper, that would just mean like she looks confused. She looks puzzled. Let's see how we can see this in different examples. All right, so we have one example here. Let's see.
Hey girl. And she looks confused. All witnesses pretty much say that she looks very puzzled and as if she does not recognize the man that...
Okay, you heard that. So she looks very puzzled. Okay, let's see how else we can use it. I am puzzled. We have 1 out of 29 examples. Let's see.
Country's ridiculously stringent defamation laws. I am puzzled by the media's reticence here.
I am puzzled by the media's something here. I am puzzled by the media's reticence here. So that's not a common word that we would use normally. This is a very academic word, clearly. But let's use this little button over here because you can see more examples.
Including the Helsinki Commission. And last year, though, I was disappointed. I am puzzled today, too, by your position on Hungary and the government of Viktor Orban.
Okay, so here he is saying, like, I am puzzled. So I am confused on your position. This is a very polite way and kind of a softer way to say, like, I'm a little confused of, like, why this is happening. All right, let's have a look at another way to say that you are confused. So let's go over here. To get lost. So this is technically a phrasal verb. So it again means that you are kind of confused, but you're just unable to follow the conversation. So I got lost during the explanation. Or even you could say like, you lost me there. So let's go back to our favorite website and let's say, you lost me. Let's see what it comes up with.
That's true.
I think I'm getting younger.
No, see, you lost me at the last part. You might be getting better, for sure. More mobile, more physical, whatever.
You lost me at the last part. So he's just confused about that other guy's opinion, but the way he's saying it is, you lost me at the last part. So try to use this in your own sentence if this is a type of expression you want to start implementing in your own vocabulary. Again, this is very much for upper intermediate English speakers who are wanting to get into advanced. If these are too easy for you right now, just keep on watching because there could be some type of expression that maybe you're not familiar with yet. But when you're also watching these videos, keep in mind that you can repeat them as much as possible and also watch them a little bit longer so that you can understand the full context. Anyways, that's just a side note. Let's keep watching more examples.
For me, because you'd be like, you lost me, dude, I'm out. And so as a result,
You lost me, dude, I'm out. So take a moment to think about, what does that mean? You lost me, dude, I'm out. To me, it sounds like, without really understanding what the context is about, is basically saying, like, in a sarcastic way, like, you lost me. Like, I'm out. Like, this is obviously, like, I'm confused why you're still pushing this on me. So that's how he's using it in this area.
Said Kevin Spacey, you lost me at of age.
And you thought it was mean when I...
You lost me at age. So notice how when you say like you lost me, it kind of means, or it definitely means that at some point I was following, I was understanding everything, and then boom, you said something and then now I'm lost. Like you lost me. I'm confused. All right, let's try another one. To be in the dark. But this is when you are completely unaware of something. Like, for example, maybe your daughter comes home and she is 8 months pregnant. You can probably say that you were totally in the dark, like you had no idea, right? So that's kind of the idea. It's like, I had no idea. I was completely in the dark. So, or in this example, I was in the dark about the changes. So when you are in the dark, it really means that you had no idea. I might be sounding like a broken record, but that is the concept. And let's take a look at some examples. I was in the dark. Let's see if it comes up with anything.
So I was in the dark, basically. I had to take the initiative and find the information myself. For example, looking at overseas resources, like what was available in the US and the UK and Australia.
Okay, so take that part of this video and try to understand what's going on here. What's the context? Clearly she was in the dark about something and she realized she had to use some resources. So that is one way you can use it in your personal setting. So for example, maybe if you had to go through something really difficult or you needed to navigate something without any help, you could say, I was completely in the dark of how to apply to university until I got an advisor, for example. What you should do at every single time you try to use a platform like Youglish, then make sure you're trying to think about, okay, this is the context it's being used in. That's how I can use it, and try to make your own examples because that always helps. And if you have any examples that you're not too sure about, of course, like send me a message, leave a comment, and I can help you make sure that you are using it correctly. But let's take a look at some more.
Guilty, he said. In a recent interview, he also said, I was in the dark. I'm still in the dark. And there are more twists to this tale. As we said at the start, there's a Breaking Bad element to the story. We will now ask you to recall a fictional fast food restaurant called Los Pollos Hermanos.
I was in the dark. I'm still in the dark. So meaning I was completely lost. I had no information, and until now I still do. So that is another way you can use this expression to express confusion. All right, let's try another one. Thrown off. So this is a phrasal verb, and what it means is, like, of course you're confused, but thrown into doubt, but kind of like, it's kind of jarring. It's kind of like, what? And so the example is, his strange answer threw me off. It's kind of like a shock, like a confusion, but with the element of shock. So let's have a look at some examples here. through. I was thrown off. Let's try that. I was thrown off. Let's see what it has.
Hence the socks. I was thrown off by the socks. I was like, these don't feel particularly witchy to me.
Okay, so she was thrown off by the socks. So she was kind of like, oh, like, that's different. So, and then she explains, these don't feel particularly witchy to me. So this is like a really lighthearted way to use it. Let's see what else we can find.
Thank you, I love you. And then I read it, and it was indeed fantastic. Now, at first I was thrown off because I thought that he meant you'll recognize who the main character is an homage to, which I didn't. But I got about a chapter into it and I said, I don't recognize who the main character is supposed to be, but it feels very... And then I said 2 words, in tone. And he said, yes, that was what I meant.
Okay, so she was thrown off by who this character was supposed to be. But you're kind of getting the idea. So the nice thing about this website is if you scroll down a little bit, you can also see when they're using it. So I read it and it was indeed fantastic. Now, at first I was thrown off because I thought, so this is how you can use this in your own examples. At first I was thrown off because, and you try to finish the sentence. That's how you can practice English, especially when you are using context, right? So when you have more words to add to an expression and then add context to it in your own personal setting, it makes it so much easier to remember. But anyways, let's do one more video, one more expression. Baffled. This is a very common one. I still use this one. I mean, I use all of these, but this one, it sounds kind of like it's older English, but to be honest, a lot of people still use it today. So, to be baffled, meaning to be extremely confused or puzzled. So kind of like thrown off. It's more along those lines. I was baffled by her response. It's kind of like an immediate, like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So, let's have a look at some examples in Youglish. She was baffled. This is the fun thing about this website is that you can literally try to use any type of sentence and it will try to find it for you so that you can literally use it in any context or any of the videos it finds. So she was baffled. Let's see.
Twitter saying she felt objectified and that she was baffled that the company handled it in such a manner. Also later sharing a photo of the company's bio from its LinkedIn page.
Or let's try to use another one so you can have more ideas.
Men. She was baffled because they were in the Navy, they had access to healthcare, they had to exercise as a requirement for staying fit in the Navy, and yet why were they diagnosed with diabetes only after manifesting kidney disease?
Okay, so in that context, this woman was baffled, like confused, but in a very strong way about basically what's going on with these military people, it seems like, and their health concerns. But you kind of get the idea. Let's do one more just to have more examples.
After all their years together, she was still baffled and deeply hurt by the sudden revelation of his secret cruelty and the damage he had been capable of inflicting on her. So of course, she wasn't going to write about him because clearly she had never even known him.
Not sure what that's about, but it sounds interesting. But you have an idea, right? Like baffled. It's like a really harsh, like she was baffled, like it's more of an impact, more than just being a little confused, right? And of course, like I said before, you can try to use this in all different ways. So like, that was baffling. Maybe we can find something with that. So try to conjugate it in different ways too. That was baffling. Let's see.
Something like I'm Alan Partridge or Fawlty Towers. That was baffling to me. You know, it's just because they're just such a phenomenon.
Okay, so that was just baffling to me. I wonder if we can go back to that.
Any of the Rocky movies?
The Rocky movies? No, I've never seen any of the Rocky movies.
And
No.
they kind of gave you a hard time about that.
Right.
Like, can't believe you haven't seen the movie. So I was wondering.
So of course you can go back a little bit and you can try to get more context of what they're talking about so it makes more sense as you are understanding these expressions, but that is the idea. Now, I hope that you were able to learn a few of these expressions concerning confusion and to be able to express it in a more advanced way. And of course, as I said before, I encourage you to go to Youglish. I am not associated with them whatsoever, but it is an excellent platform. It's an excellent tool to learn English, especially if you're trying to learn English on your own, and try to make up some sentences and see what kind of context you can find so that you can understand it better. All right, that is all for today. I'll see you at our next lesson.